You're a bright young man. This monkey business is in your blood, under your skin. You're not getting out. You're just getting in. You're only getting started. I have every faith in you. And one day in the future, it'll be you sitting here telling some young Turks the facts of life.
And they are, Mr. Temple?
You're born. You take shit. Get out in the world. Take more shit. Climb a little higher. Take less shit. Till one day, you're up in the rarefied atmosphere, and you've forgotten what shit even looks like. Welcome to the layer cake, son.
Hey, welcome back to the Black and White Cinema Podcast with Kev and Ugie. I'm Kev.
And I'm Ugie, dressed as Scary Terry.
And today we watched Layer Cake, and we're here to talk about it. So what was fun for me about this movie is when you suggested it, I was like, I vaguely, I know that name. I couldn't think of what the movie was at all. And then the second it started, I was like, oh, I watched this with Ugo in college.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I remembered 0% of the plot. The only thing I remembered was I was like, I think someone is in a freezer in this. But I think we watched this and Lock, Stock at the same time, like back to back. So when it started, I was like, okay, this is the one with Daniel Craig. Is Brad Pitt in this one? Like the whole time I was like mixing up the two.
This is like the Ugo starter pack. When I'm showing people movies, it's like Layer Cake, Snatch, Lock, Stock. It's just like Brit movies.
I think I watched all three of those with you. Yeah. So yeah, it was just funny. Like I feel like I have a pretty good memory of movies, obviously, because that's literally why we do this. But it was just funny to watch a movie that I know I've seen and the whole time still be guessing what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
And I didn't even smoke weed in college, so I can't blame it on that.
When I watched this for the first time, shout out to my cousin Muna. So he got me to watch this like in the summer at our aunt's house. And we used to do that with our family. I have a really big family on both sides. So like in middle school through high school, our family would always do like summer vacation would be at someone's house. So all the cousins would all be at like one house for like at least like 3 or 4 weeks where all the kids were together.
That's dope.
It was good and bad.
It sounds chaotic.
Yeah, it was chaotic. So this was like maybe high school. So it's like, he was in college. And so he was bringing this back from like college. And he's like, oh, you got to watch this movie. And like, he was super like excited to show me the twist at the end. And it was like, I remember like for me, this is around that time, like even before, it was probably right around the time that I told you that story about how I was watching Training Day. Yeah. When like I had my movie awakening and I started to really enjoy like more, I had better taste and appetite for movies with more depth. And so this was definitely one of those movies where I was just like, this is so cool. And I was so excited to share it with other people. Yeah. So I'm sure like I've shown this movie to like at least 20 different people.
Right. Basically every time you were given an opportunity to introduce someone to a movie, this was like the first go.
Yeah. It was like this or Blue Streak.
Yeah. I think we must have watched it at your place too, because I started it and Coley was home and she's like, I don't think I've ever seen this. And she was like, maybe I was studying. I'm like,
yeah, studying.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's good to revisit for sure. Before we dive into the movie, I see that you have See What Had Happened Was. So This is our recurring segment. I think honestly might be my favorite of our segments that we've done so far. This is where one of us describes a movie intentionally poorly and misleading, and we try to see if the other person can guess what it is.
Yeah. So last time I did it on hard mode, so this one I think is medium mode. I think you guys probably should get this. All right. See, what had happened was the story begins with a farmhand leaving to seek his fortune, only to be reportedly killed by a legendary pirate who leaves no survivors. Years later, the farmhand returns in disguise to rescue his true love from an arranged marriage. To reach her, he must defeat a trio of mercenaries, a swordsman, a giant, and a man who can't be poisoned. The hero survives a fire swamp, an oversized rodent, only to be tortured to death in a place that sounds like the Dilly Dilly guy's least favorite vacation spot. The hero is brought back to life, storms a castle with farm tools, a jacket, and his crash-out homie.
Princess Bride.
Yeah. Oh, like that one's a bit too easy.
It was the trio.
Yeah.
The giant and the guy who can't be poisoned.
I got the pirate.
Yeah.
Of course, Mace got it before me. Good. I got one.
You got one. All right. We good. You're on the board. You're 2 for 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the first one?
Bullet Train.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I didn't really see that.
A lot of comments on YouTube and Instagram saying that I like the water bottle was the giveaway with Bullet Train.
Yeah.
Also got a comment. We posted the Star Wars one today and got very angry comments from a guy that was offended by like how it's not accurate. This isn't right. I'm like, it's not right, but it also ain't wrong. And he didn't like it. But thank you for your engagement, bud. Thanks for the comments.
Yeah. So that'll bring us to our synopsis of Layer Cake. In the sleek, high-stakes world of the London drug trade, Daniel Craig plays a meticulous professional cocaine distributor who views himself not only as a gangster, but as a businessman. He has a simple philosophy: stay quiet, avoid the limelight, and retire early. However, on the brink of his exit from the underworld, crime boss Jimmy Price hands him 2 parting gifts that prove to be poison chalices. Find the wayward, drug-addicted daughter of a powerful construction mogul, broker the sale of 1 million high-grade ecstasy pills from a dangerous Serbian gang. We can get to the movie data. This is starring Daniel Craig, Cole Meany, Kenneth Cranham, George Harris, Jamie Foreman, Sienna Miller, and Michael Gambon. That is an excellent cast if you know who those people are. There's 2 taglines. The first one sucks. The second one I like a lot better. The first one is "Welcome to the Layer Cake, son," which is cool if you've seen it.
Yeah.
Alternatively, there's 7 days, 1 million tablets, no problem.
I think that would be a good hook.
It's
Ish. Welcome to the Layer Cake, son is, like you said, once you've seen it, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
Because the title literally has layers.
Yes. But like as a standalone, again, it's just like even if you see it with the movie, it's like, what? There's a yellow Range Rover and welcome, like what?
Yeah.
When my cousin was trying to get me to watch this movie and he was talking about it, I was just like, what are you trying? You know when someone's trying to get you to watch something and you're not really down, and you're like, bro, and then when they're right, I remember finishing this movie on my aunt's couch, like my legs in the air, like a schoolgirl on the phone, just like,
whoa. Yeah.
I watched it again like twice. Yeah, exactly.
Daniel Craig is gorgeous in general, but in this, I think this is like, he was still really young, those shining blue eyes.
Yep.
Sexuality is a spectrum.
Yeah.
Was this before Casino Royale or?
Yes. So this movie is widely speculated. This is what got him the Bond role. There's a particular scene, we'll get there. Yeah, there's a particular scene where he does some real Bond shit. And yeah, this is before.
He also looks really good in a suit, which probably helped with
He just looks really good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is a very sex positive place. I would have folded.
That's the I would have folded. This is Daniel Craig for this one.
Daniel Craig's fucking blue eyes. Sorry, Mom.
I thought it was going to be the blonde chick, but no,
I have a note about that later on too. Release date October 1st, 2004 in the UK and May 13th, 2005 in the US. It's R for brutal violence, pervasive language, drug use, sexual, and nudity.
Yep.
Runtime, hour 45 minutes. Flies by.
It does.
Yeah. Director, Matthew Vaughn. Writers, J.J. Connolly, and it's a screenplay based off of his own novel.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I actually don't usually see a lot of people adapting their own work. That's pretty cool.
I was thinking to myself, I was like, for as much as I love this movie, I should probably read the book because I imagine that the book is probably actually better.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can play the old budget game.
Yep, I didn't look.
So this took about $6.5 million to make.
Okay.
But it was a British movie.
That's a really low budget for how good this looks.
Yeah.
Huh, okay. 6.5 mil. Is the opening weekend the US number?
Yes. Well, no, it's opening weekend is just opening weekend, and then it has gross Canada and gross worldwide.
I'm going to say, so 2004, Daniel Craig not yet
Yeah, he's not
super
famous yet.
popular. Guy Ritchie adjacent enough that like cool kids would go see it. But I'm gonna say opening weekend, I'm gonna give it $4 million, and then gross US 12, worldwide 25.
No. Opening weekend, $157,000.
Oh,
Gross US Canada, 2.3 million. Gross worldwide, just under 12 million.
okay.
But this is one of those cult-ish movies that it got a second life on DVD. Like,
yeah,
it did well worldwide. It has a big cast. It was just one of those, like, it didn't really, like, most people never even saw this get.
yeah. Like Maceo has seen a bunch of stuff that like I am surprised that he's seen or I haven't seen, and he hasn't heard of this movie.
I'm actually a little bit bummed because we're gonna spoil part of the movie. We're gonna spoil this movie for you.
Yeah.
I'll forget it.
Yeah.
He's not listening to it.
Cool. Yeah. All right.
His job is
All
to
right.
make sure the cameras are
Yeah.
working.
Rotten Tomatoes score 81% certified fresh. Metascore 73.
That feels
This is
low.
probably fair. I think it should be a little bit higher.
I don't know what you could knock this movie for. Like everything is so intentional.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's really well done. Yeah. It's really unique shots.
Yep.
The pacing is
it's like frenetic in a good way.
Yeah.
People who hate drugs.
Yeah, you never get bored in this movie. Like, it's always moving on to the next thing. There's storylines. I think it's like when you compare this to like his contemporary who am I thinking of right now? Guy Ritchie. Like, they're buddies, so they like Guy Ritchie and Matthew Vaughn Matthew Vaughn worked on Snatch and Lock, Stock and vice versa. And so like this was like one of his like real debut kind of coming out there films. And I think where Guy Ritchie gets that like gritty London bloke, I'm speaking with Cockney and all that, this like sepia tones, and it feels like gross London underworld, where this one just feels like clean and posh and like not even so much posh, but just like aesthetic. Like
it's crisp.
Exactly.
Yeah, visually.
Yeah. The shots are fantastic.
Yeah.
Like some of the transitions that they do in this are just like, even till today, when I was watching it, I was like, man, they make London look clean and cool in this movie versus like Snatch. Like England just looks like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, but so as we get that, we'll get to our spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the movie, there's a twist at the end. Whatever. It's up to you. At this point, you know the deal.
Yep.
We're going to get into Kevin Ugie's cuts. So we're going to pick some of our favorite scenes and we're just going to talk through them. We're not going to do the full recap. We're going to try this out for a little bit, see how it works.
Yep.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think, especially those of you who've been with us. And this is now the third iteration of format. And so we'd love to hear what you think, what you like, what you don't like, because we care.
If you don't like the Seahawks, comment below.
If you do like the Seahawks, comment below.
Yeah. One like.
Feelings about the Seahawks.
One like for the Seahawks. One dislike for the Seahawks. Let's see who wins. We get like a very like the intro is just you get a voiceover of Daniel Craig saying something to the effect of, when I was a child,
life was simpler.
Life was simpler.
I was like, same, bro, same.
Yeah.
But then I realized he was talking about something specific.
Yeah.
When I was born, the world was a far simpler place. It was all just cops and robbers.
It was all just cops and robbers, and you just get this. You don't know what you're focusing in on, and then you get this explosion off the back of a truck,
Mm-hmm.
which is like a Brinks truck. They're stealing money. You get I think it's like called FC Kahuna hailing this. The music in this movie is also great.
Yeah.
You get this like very kind of cool drawn out speech where he's explaining how gangsters moved from running and gunning basically to drugs, and how drugs are the future, and how he's a businessman, and how he realizes that drugs are the future and one day it will be legal.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think the scoring and the shots are like there's like he's in that intro. He's just like, yeah, you have gangbangers that are doing time
doing
for
12 years next to hippies who are doing 12 months.
12 months for stealing, for like moving like $6 million worth of hashish.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're in the wrong game, mate.
Yeah. That was cool how when he said we're in the wrong game, you can see the guy in the prison saying it. And then, I jotted down that line. Always remember that one day all of this drug business will be legal.
Yeah.
Message.
Yeah. And he's just like, fun times now, dumb times tomorrow, something like that. And it is true. When this was written 2005, a lot of these, like, weed wasn't legal.
Yeah.
And I think we're kind of moving to a place where a lot of places are trying to legalize more drugs, and they're decriminalizing a lot, of places.
Mm-hmm.
And it, in some ways, for the
you
better.
have corporate pharmaceutical companies making weed. And it packs a very impressive amount of social commentary. It not only sets the world that you need to immediately fall into, but there's a lot of social commentary packed in there too.
Yeah. You get your first titties of the movie like very quickly in this opening monologue,
just like the last movie we did.
Interesting. They're like, stay away from this though.
Yeah.
Stay away from the end user and stay away from wannabe gangsters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good advice.
Yeah, he's clearly a very buttoned up, like he's on top of his shit. He has rules. He keeps his circle small. He doesn't get into trouble he doesn't need to be in. At least that's how he frames it. And then the movie is exactly all of those rules being broken.
He says, it's not that we don't have that special magic that can turn 2 kilos to 3, but don't be too greedy.
Right. I know. It shows him like literally cutting it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom Hardy is also like 12 years old in this movie.
Exactly.
He's so young.
He says like, that's Clarky. He's like first grade at Cambridge, like whatever, like biochemistry.
Yeah.
He's got to pay his student loans off somehow.
Yeah.
And so just at the end of the intro, it sets up kind of the main conflict of the movie. So at the end of it, when they're talking about stay away from the wannabe gangsters, you see that there's a drug deal about to take place, but they don't really quite go into it. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And so I like the shot where they get Daniel Craig going in, and he's just like, he basically says, I'm getting out.
It's like his last week.
Yeah.
Right. Like we see the guy, Mr. Singh, who like cleans his money for him. And it's like, he's going to clean it and I'm going to get this final $1 million like a few days from now. And then I'm out.
Yep. And then it cuts to, what's that song? It's Duran Duran, right?
Sure.
She Sells Sanctuary. Rolling Stones, She Sells Sanctuary. I just like the music in this.
It is good music. I just don't know.
It's the Cult. She Sells Sanctuary. Anyways, yeah. Then he's driving. What is he driving, bro?
Daniel Craig?
Yeah.
He gets into Morty's RS6 Avant C5. It's one of my favorite Audis of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely beautiful. There's a lot of good cars in this movie that I'll quickly rattle off. The yellow Land Rover is like a joke because it's flashy, but I think it's pretty sweet. There's also, they don't show it, but there's the scene in the club where there's the guys that he works with who are like trying to convince the American girls that he's like the Earl of Oxford. And he's like debating like, what color should I get my new Aston Martin? And but he's like green, and all the girls are like black. If you get an Aston Martin, it needs to be British racing green, and that is just or it ain't worth having in it. The other, let's see, there's 2 other cars that I love. When Gene towards the end of the movie, he and his like goon, unnamed bald goon that's with him the whole movie, are driving an E32 7 Series BMW that I really like. I would never own one because they're incredibly unreliable, but it's a nice looking car. You can get them pretty cheap if you're in old Beamers and you don't mind fixing electrical issues. And then finally, in that same scene, there's a really sweet Land Rover Defender that, is it Ernie? Is that Dumbledore's name in this? Or Eddie? Eddie. Yeah, Eddie pulls off in it like a really sick Defender. Similar to my friend Shane's. I'll have a picture of my friend Shane's Defender somewhere up here because it's really sweet. And that's it. Mostly that Audi. That RS6, I love those cars so much.
Yeah, they're at this club, Stoke-on-Trent, very wealthy club, and basically they're meeting with the big boss, and he's telling him, hey, I need you to find this missing girl. She's coked out. She's huddled up somewhere for boyfriend. And
Kinky.
Yeah, Kinky.
Which is a weird nickname.
Yeah. And also, I got some drugs I need you to sell me. This guy stole a bunch of like ecstasy pills, so handle that deal for me.
Yeah. Well, they don't know it's stolen yet.
Yeah, you don't know. Well, you see it from the scenes where he's like taking it. Well, oh no, you're right.
No, you don't know that
you
it's
don't know
stolen
that
yet. Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, go get this deal. And so that's kind of like the inciting thing of it. He's like, I want to get out of it. And then Jimmy, the big boss, is just like, every now and then we have to go above and beyond the call of duty. It's called sacrifice. Ask Morty about it.
Right, because Morty served 10 years for some shit.
And so...
And at this point, I noticed because Daniel Craig doesn't say anything to Jimmy about wanting to get out, but Jimmy says something that doesn't really make it clear, but he alludes to the fact that like he knows that he's trying to retire.
Yeah, he says something that's like, you know why guys like you can't retire?
Because you make
too much money for people.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And so they go and meet with the Duke. But yeah,
the Duke,
he's a piece of shit. I just want to get it. So they're just meeting with this gangster who's just like, he's the guy that they're saying
he's like a Guy Ritchie thug.
Yeah, he's
like,
just a fucking idiot,
just dumbass garbage,
just loud guy. And basically, he's trying to be like, hey, I got $1 million. I got 1 million pills. $5 a pill. They're worth 5 million.
Yeah.
And Daniel Craig's character's like, they're not worth 5 million. That's not how any of this works.
Now, you want to know how much these pills are worth?
Yes, fucking please.
Right, now just because you pay a $5 a pop down the local cattle market, don't, for fuck's sake, start thinking these pills are worth millions. They're not.
And they're negotiating, but it's not working. So
Duke's girlfriend is so annoying. Is it Slasher?
Slasher, yeah. So it ends with them like, you're like, all right, well, I got a sample. I'm out. And then the Duke's just like talking about like they have like a big like thug on their side, like an enforcer. And he's like, you want to be so flashy you didn't have him,
behind you, would ya?
He has.
Yeah. So good.
He fucking has.
And also when they're going in, he's like, oh, bright yellow Land Rover, real subtle.
Yeah. Already this early, like we're probably, I don't know, 20 minutes into the movie at this point. Like I was already so overwhelmed, and it took me a little bit to realize that it's masterfully done that way on purpose.
Yeah,
because and there's like the directing is so good to pace it so that it's so chaotic that you can't catch your breath.
Yeah,
and you feel the same way Daniel Craig does.
Yeah,
like you are basically with him in his scramble to try to get this shit done. I just thought it was really cool because like I was feeling it for a bit, and then I was like, wait, they're doing this on purpose because he's feeling that overwhelm, and they get you to feel it too.
Yeah.
Also, thank God for subtitles because I can't understand the accents and while it's moving this fast.
Yeah.
It was like, good Lord.
So like they're trying to sell these pills, and so they hit up some of their friends from Liverpool. So they meet up with their friends from Liverpool. At the same time, they're trying to track down these girls, or this girl.
Was that Tony? Is that the name of the big guy from Liverpool?
Tony and Shanks.
Tony and Shanks, yeah.
Or is it Tony?
I think
Rory and Shanks.
Okay.
Yes, Rory and Shanks.
Yeah.
And so they meet up with Rory and Shanks, and he basically says like, hey, what the fuck are you guys doing? And they're like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, don't give me the innocent, like, what's going on? And they're like, bro, we have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And so he's like, all right, so I was in Amsterdam last weekend, and all of Amsterdam is going on about this rumor that you guys are linked up with this guy, the Duke, and you guys stole a bunch of pills from these Serbians, but these Serbians are fucking crazy, and they're wanted for war crimes and ethnic cleansing.
Because this lot are wanted for war crimes, mass murder, ethnic cleansing. They're lunatics. They're wanted by the United Nations. Think about that.
Right. And then it shows the scene of Duke and Slasher and that gang like stealing all of this ecstasy.
Yeah.
And Slasher accidentally killing some random worker on the farm. And
This would not be the end of this, Mr. Luke. Believe me.
Yeah. And so they're like, we'll get you back for this. And so they have to get boated back from Amsterdam to England. And so basically their friends are just like, hey, don't get us caught up in some bullshit, but also we will still buy these pills from you.
Right.
But just don't be taking the piss with us or whatever.
Yeah, there's business to be made.
And so there's like a very cool transition where he's like, well, I guess you don't want them then. He's like, hey, don't be too hasty, La.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
I love that slang, La.
Yeah. And he's like, well,
Stolen goods? You won't want them then. Sit down, huh? Let's not be too hasty. You don't need to have a little think. Well, don't think too long, because someone's going to make a killing on these pills.
we're going to sell these. Someone's going to make a killing on these pills. And then he's like, well, that's the problem. Someone already has.
Mm.
And so they pull up to Paul the boatman, who is the guy who helped the Duke get to and from Amsterdam. And he's dead with an iron in his chest.
Yeah.
And so we find out it's like he was tortured by these Serbians.
The dragon.
Yeah. And at that point, he fucking said anything to just get it to fucking stop. So he said that the Duke was working with their outfit, which is problem kind of number one, because now the Serbians are after Daniel Craig and his gang.
Right. It's the first of many problems.
Yeah.
We don't know about the rest yet, but they're all in motion.
Yeah. The other problem is, so now he meets up with his other two friends, these con artist buddies, who
like Taptoes.
Yeah, Tiptoes. Cody and Tiptoes. And he's like, all right, I need you guys to go find this girl that we're after. And so it's weird because they're in the back area, so I have to assume that it's his club.
Yeah.
Because he's like in an office, and I can't tell. He was sitting behind the desk.
Oh, yeah.
So I always thought it was like, it's his. I imagine that it was Cody and Tiptoes's, but
yeah,
like,
or they just like know the owners. And
yeah,
like,
maybe.
We're going to use your office. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
So he like, all right, I'll pay you $20,000 if you find them and whatever. And while he's in the club, he runs into the Duke's younger nephew.
Oh yeah.
And so the nephew has a girlfriend played by Sienna Miller, and she's hot.
Mm.
And this is where I want to say I would not have folded, because she's just a British woman smoking a cigarette.
And like,
yeah, the aesthetic is perfect for me. Kylie Minogue's playing. I love Kylie Minogue. She's also bae, friend of the podcast. It's just that she's just like dancing terribly and smoking a cigarette, and I was just like, nah.
Yeah.
No.
She's cute.
She is. I think in other movies, totally.
Yeah.
Not in this one. I don't like what she has. Her teeth are fine too in the movie.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. Like, why is she not intriguing?
I don't know what it is, but she just,
because they definitely try to make her.
She's hot in the other scene.
Yeah,
but it's still just like, yeah, I don't know.
Because like Daniel Craig is like trying to get out of here and not talk to the nephew, and he sees her and just simps out.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
it's super hard.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, bro, you're basically a millionaire, and like you can do better.
You look like Daniel Craig.
Exactly. Well, whatever, Men gonna fold for, So Sydney's just like trying to talk to him and shit. He's like, oh yeah, the Duke's got charisma and all this sort of shit. Daniel Craig's not paying attention. He's focused on this girl
just
doing cigarette dance.
Yeah.
And so she comes, like, gives him a fake hug and gives Daniel Craig her phone number. And so now he's like in a love triangle. Mm-hmm. Totally unnecessary.
Yep. He added another problem for himself right there.
Yeah. And so Cody and Tiptoes find the girl.
Kinky.
Yeah, they find Kinky. When they find Kinky, he's dead. And he's like in a crack house with a bunch of crackheads. And one of the crackheads is just like, somebody came in and murdered him, gave him $5,000, but he took the $5,000 and didn't do whatever they said. So he's dead now. And they're like, they're just like, okay, what the fuck? This is actually getting deeper than we wanted to. This is a fucking murder.
There's another problem.
So Daniel Craig and Morty, black character, they go to a diner to eat and figure out what it is. I always thought it was funny.
Incredible scene.
Yeah. Morty's like, you better get this sorted. And it's just like, what did he do?
Yeah.
It's like, you got to sign this job.
Yeah.
He's doing it the best he can. He did half the job. Like, I was like, what do you mean you better get, he's like, you better get this sorted or I'll sort you out. And it's just like, well all right.
The shit is out of control. You sort it out or I'll sort you out.
Morty, kinky OD, that's all.
It is a great
the
scene.
diner scene is probably one of my favorites. Even the setup shot that like pans across the restaurant to their table is really cool. And then we can talk about what actually happens in the scene, but I love that setup shot.
So yeah, they're in this diner and they're getting food, and lo and behold, somebody walks in and he's like, Morty! And he's all just happy. He's like, looks like it's an old friend that he hasn't seen in a long time. This guy looks rough.
Greasy as hell.
Yeah, he looks like, he's dirty, he's greasy, his hair's a mess. So he gets a full English breakfast. He eats it like a pig, right? He's like licking his chops, having a good time.
Yeah.
And he's just like, lights up a cigarette. He's just like, he couldn't spare like a tenner for old time's sake. So Morty pulls out like a bankroll and starts giving him money.
Yeah.
And he's like,
can you give me 500?
Yeah,
Like, how about 10?
yeah, can you give me 10?
Counting it at him.
Yeah, he's like, 10. Yeah, he's a
10's a
500
nice round
number.
Let's make it 10. Yeah. 10's a nice round number.
Throws the bankroll in his face, hits him with a coffee pot.
Yep.
It breaks, and then he starts beating the shit out of him.
And it's just incredible directing because Morty's fighting the camera. So you get it from Freddy's point of view.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. He's like rolling around on the floor, like throwing punches at the camera.
Yeah.
And it's very
While
effective.
Ordinary World is playing, because that's what's playing at the diner, but they also do this thing where while he's punching Freddy, the sound gets distorted.
Oh, it starts like ringing.
Yeah,
like his ears are ringing.
so it's like you're getting a great perspective as like you feel like you're Freddy in this moment, getting your ass beat.
Yeah.
And it's just like all that's also being chopped up with like another scene where you can see the Duke like arguing with somebody and then getting shot.
Yeah. So good.
But like the main characters don't know this.
Yeah. It's just revealing it to us.
Yeah. And so
they kind of did something similar with the boatman too, where like it was cutting away to the sizzling iron, but you couldn't see what was burning under it.
Yeah, you just
until
hear
they found
the
him
pot of
and
tea
then-
going
yeah.
off, the kettle's going off.
Right.
And so Morty is just like, but you know what? That's old news. Let's just clear it up over a cup of tea, and pours a fucking hot steaming tea all over him. He beats the fuck out of him. It
puts him in a coma.
Yeah.
I love that like they leave the diner and Morty's like, all right, I'm not gonna be around for a bit, and just legs it.
He just comes back to normal. He's like, oh shit.
And Daniel Craig's like, what?
Yeah. And then you have a really cool shot too of them just walking down,
running in opposite directions.
Yeah.
So good.
So you get to learn. Daniel Craig's character goes and meets with Gene, and so Gene's talking to him, and he kind of gives him some exposition. Okay, he's like, "Who's Freddy?" And so they used to roll in this like what he calls them a kamikaze firm, just like some fucking just crazy people selling drugs, selling this and that. And so there was this guy, Killborn Jerry, and Killborn Jerry was like in there, and he was kind of going crazy and shoots himself. So Morty just loved the guy, and so like he wanted to do right by him, so he agreed to take the body. And the person who helped him was Freddy, but Freddy was high and drunk, so Freddy fell asleep at the wheel while they were trying to dispose of the body. And they say back then being black was even worse than being Irish.
Yeah, that was a good line.
And so they threw the
I'm pretty sure today being black is worse than being Irish in a lot of places.
You can't say
know what
that.
I meant. I meant socially.
Wow.
Jeez.
Just playing. It's better. Anyways.
It is better. The one Irish guy I know, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. And so Morty gets the book thrown at him, so he has to do 10 years. But he kept his mouth shut. He ain't no snitch, so he got a lot of respect.
Right. That's why he's still in the game.
Which brings us to another scene. And so I also like that Gene offers Daniel Craig like something to like offers him like a strong drink, and he's like no, and he's like, all right, so there's this thing called joint venture. So you're at the scene of the crime. So if Freddy dies, you're either going to be on the stand with Morty, or you're going to be in the
ratting against
him. And he's like, all right,
I will take one of those. Yeah.
While you're in the witness box, put them away. Think about that.
You know, I will have one of those.
I also like this was my favorite part about that scene with Gene was like when he goes to give him a gun, and just the way British people react to guns is always so funny to me. Like Daniel Craig is a criminal who like I'm sure has beaten people up at least, but the idea of like taking a gun, he's like, oh God, look at all these guns. I'm so offended. My sensibilities.
Fuck me, Gene. I fucking hope not. Are you trying to scare the shit out of me? I mean, I fucking hate guns.
Meanwhile, I'm over here with my little American ass, like shooting guns when I was a kid, and it's just so.
Well, I mean, maybe to some degree, but I mean, I think that military service is pretty popular over there, so a lot of people do know how to use guns.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's as entwined in culturally,
Right? Because like that would be the case where you learned how to shoot a gun.
Exactly. People have guns, but they don't use. I don't think they use them in the same way that we use them.
Yeah. It's like skeet shooting and hunting.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all they have.
Yeah. Right after this, Gene's showing Daniel Craig like all of his guns. Like he has a pretty cool gun collection.
Yeah.
Like they all kind of seem like
there's like an old World War II Luger and stuff like that. He also like he brings one back out to the living room and he like disassembles it, and the shot is through the glass coffee table up at them. And he's like, their drinks are there, and he like sets the parts of the gun out. And I thought that was one of my favorite shots.
Yeah.
There's so many cool shots, so many cool transitions.
He's like,
this.
You look like you could do that with your eyes closed. He's like, I can, and I do.
Yeah, Gene's pretty badass.
Yeah. And then Daniel Craig's character is like, oh, I like this one. And so he does this thing where he like picks up the gun. At first, when he picks up the gun, Gene's like, no!
Yeah, point that shit up, man. Like, yeah, he points it right at him.
Yeah. And so this is where we'll probably have it overlaying, but this is where we get Daniel Craig kind of doing this like looking, and that's what got him the Bond role. It's very like I hope we should probably overlay like both a Bond, like the Bond turn and then him doing it. Dragon calls him. So Dragon's the Serbian gangster.
This is actually one of my other favorite shots. The way it transitions, because he's getting wasted with Gene when in the scene where he gives him the gun, and he
doesn't give him the gun.
Okay, so there's a really cool shot. It transitions and it's an overhead shot of Daniel Craig in bed. And he's like got his hand over his head, like hangover symbol, right? And his phone rings, and he's like, and he pulls the covers, and the covers pull back, and it reveals a gun sitting on his pillow. Yeah. And like that, it's such a cool 5 seconds, right? Yeah. But it establishes like, oh, he's hungover. Oh, he has a gun. Oh, he's getting like so much happens, and it's just good, just art. Yeah. Good directing.
It's shot really well. It's like I think it harkens back is one of the things that sucks about filmmaking and television today. They make so much film for the TV being the second or third screen because you're on your phone. So they have to tell you and not show you. Yeah. But like this is a movie where it's just like you get rewarded for paying attention. Mm-hmm. And so it's really cool where he answers the phone all hungover, and then he hears that it's a Serbian like voice. And he's like, he's like, Dragon. And so Dragon's just like, hey, like, yo, like,
where the fuck are my pills?
Yeah, where are my pills and stuff? He's like, oh, you know what? Let's talk about this like adults. How about you come over? I'll squeeze some oranges. I'll make some tea, and we'll talk about it like adults. And Dragon's like, that sounds quite hospitable. And then he's like, do you know where I live? And then he's like, no. Well, fuck off then.
Click.
I like later on, someone's talking to him. He's like, yeah, I told him to fuck off. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm kind of regretting that now.
It was great. It was so British too. How like, oh, why don't you come over? I'll squeeze some oranges, I'll make breakfast. We'll have a cup of tea and we'll talk about this. He's like, gotcha, bitch. Then the slider phone too was also very 2004. Very cool.
Jimmy's really pissed off for some reason at at Daniel Craig for telling the Duke that the pills weren't worth as much as because he's trying to negotiate and get the best deal so he can obviously take the best cut. And Jimmy just wants him to get the deal done and it's whatever. So all the stuff's going on. The Duke goes missing. They're trying to find the Duke to do the pills. We, the audience, already know that he's probably dead, but
I think it showed his dead body.
yeah, but all the actors don't.
Yeah.
That actors being like all the people on the team.
Yep.
And so
And we meet Eddie.
yeah. Well, not even yet. So he goes to meet. He calls up Sienna Miller's character, whatever her name is,
Right.
to go meet her at a hotel because he's kind of a dick.
Yeah. He's trying to find the Duke through her,
Yes.
but he's also simping.
Is he?
Yes.
I guess I think you're not wrong. I always felt that it was like a lucky extra. I feel like he's got the phone. He got the phone number for whatever he called. He's not.
Yeah,
when he first calls her, he's not trying.
But he says like, I have someone I can call to try to find the Duke.
that's
So
true.
he's trying to get like through her to the cousin or
Yeah.
to the nephew to the Duke.
Yeah.
But also beautiful woman at a hotel who's down and is rubbing her phone on her fanny, as she tells him, even though she's not.
Yeah, exactly. I always find that funny. Just like rubbing it on.
Yeah, and like laughing.
He's just like
trifling assholes.
Yeah. So he goes to meet up with her at this hotel. Sienna Miller goes to get changed into lingerie. While she's doing that, he goes through her phone, figures out where the Duke is. He's in Greenwich Village. And then room service comes. So he goes to answer the door, but it's not room service. It's actually some goons. He gets knocked out and taken away. He gets woken up at the top of a building, staring down at the ground. Like he's like on the roof of a building and being held there.
A very tall building.
And so as you were saying
then we
before,
meet Eddie. Yes.
We meet Eddie.
AKA Dumbledore. Excellent character. I love that kind of like old school British gangster, like Jimmy is kind of that, and what's cool about the Eddie intro and kind of the backstory that Eddie fills him in on, with like Crazy Larry and like all that shit. You start the movie and you meet Jimmy and you think, oh, this is the Kingpin, and then you learn through this story that he's not. He's a higher level than Daniel Craig and Gene and Morty and all these guys, but he's not all that he's cracked up to be. He's kind of an idiot. He's kind of a joke to like the actual echelon that Eddie sits at.
Like when he says like, yeah, we invite him over for our golf tournament and he's really entertaining.
He's funny.
Yeah.
And then we learned that he got fleeced by a definitely not Nigerian prince.
Yeah.
And invested $13 million in what's possibly worse than Nicaraguan real estate.
Nicaragua.
Nice callback.
That's like the first thing I thought of.
Yeah.
It's like Nicaragua.
So
so he invested in like mining in this like third world country, and it turns out that there's a communist regime that is going to take over and he's going to lose all of this fucking money.
So Jimmy wanted Eddie to get his money out, and he's like, I can't do that.
Right.
And so then
he's just like at some kid's piggy bank or some shit. Yeah.
And so Jimmy accuses Eddie of like being on the take because like Eddie's like, I invested like $500,000 in it. Sometimes you win some, you lose some. And then Jimmy's like, I invested everything in it.
It's $13 million.
And so he gets really accusatory. And so what he reveals is that he reveals a few things. One, Jimmy's working for the police. Two, he hired Daniel Craig to do these two things specifically. He wanted him to get the pills so he can get arrested by the police for getting the pills. And if he finds the daughter first, he knows that Eddie will kill him. So he's just like, in any way I win, you find the daughter and get her. You kill him, you cover my tracks. I don't have to worry about this. I get all your money. Or you get arrested and I get it up. He set him up with the Indian tax accountant or whatever.
Right.
Or banker, Mr. Singh.
Pakistani is what they refer, because they call him Paki.
Yeah, well, that's just racism.
Yes. I think he's actually Sikh based on
the way
that
exactly.
he's dressed. Yeah. And and they also reveal that Mr. Singh is the one who accidentally slips to Jimmy that Daniel Craig is going to retire. He's like, "Oh, you're going to miss him, aren't you, Mr. Jimmy?" or something like that.
Yeah. And so he knows this, so he's like, "All right, got to go kill this guy." And this is my favorite shot in the movie, when he like realizes that he's gonna have to do this, because he goes home, he's like, "Fuck."
Yeah, he's spiraling.
Yeah.
And he's drinking, he's taking pills, he's like pacing, and
yeah.
You can tell he's trying to figure out a way out of the layer cake that he's stuck in the middle of.
So they do this really interesting shot where it's a zoom where he's like sitting down like in his house, and it like zooms in till you get to just his eyes. And then it unzooms back out, but now he's wearing a baklava.
Yeah.
And he's like in the forest by Jimmy's house because he's about to do murder.
Yeah.
And it's just such
a good shot.
It's such a cool shot. So, long story, he shoots and kills Jimmy. But one of the things that I liked about this was that, so he like, kind of does some like really cool secret op shit, sneaks in. Jimmy's in his backyard, like watering his plants, totally oblivious. And then he gets up behind him. "I got the drop on you."
Mm-hmm. And so he knows guesses it.
Yeah, he puts his gun down so Jimmy can turn around and look him in the eyes. And
you see Jimmy realize who it is because those fucking eyes.
Yes. And my note here was just like, this is exactly what would have fucking happened to fucking Brian Fast. What a fucking idiot. And it's just like, yeah, exactly. You have piercing blue eyes. Like this guy, like, these are just two criminals. Yeah. You're a police officer. So going back to, race wars, I just have to say, that was one of the things that didn't make sense about race wars.
Yep.
And okay, we'll go back to this. But anyways, once he realizes who he is, he shoots him.
Yep. There's such cool shots, that whole.
Yeah. This
even like the underwater shots up at Jimmy as he's swimming laps, the like rapid pull out, zoom out right before the shot.
Even the music too, it does such a good job. The scoring pre, during, and post execution is so good because like you get the score starts when he gets back and starts freaking out. Mm-hmm. It builds up until it gets to the murder, and you can hear it like does like a heartbeat thing.
Yeah,
and it's so. Then you just get it does also like this awesome out dolly zoom where you just get a full vision now, and then he just shoots them.
Yeah,
and then fucks off. He like runs off. It's almost comical. And then you get this whole other scene posting where he's like fucking spiraling. He turns on the TV, and like the first thing that happens is someone's just like, "I shot you, Dad." He starts crushing pills and like drinking, and he's like crying.
Yeah. And
they do a very good job here of all these shots are also just like, it's very like schizophrenic, like it's a lot's happening. It's unsettling. You can tell, like it'll cut between him like crushing pills and like crying and drinking and trying to forget, trying to sleep. It's not working. And then just like,
and he's like run out of pills at this point.
And it just it builds and builds. And then he's like, it shows him like going through his cupboard looking for more pills. And then he closes it. And then when he opens it up, it's like the next day.
Yeah, he's like back in his suit.
Yeah.
And then he pulls out the whole medicine cabinet, and there's a bunch of like money and passports and stuff hidden back there.
Fuck off shit. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's at the park and Dragon calls him, and
Dragon's just like, "Hey, no, stop fucking around. Let's meet." And he's just like, "Oh yeah, okay. I've heard from people. I know who you are. Let's meet somewhere." He's like, "You come over." He's like, "I don't want to do that. Let's meet in a public place." Mm-hmm. So he gets one of the guys from Liverpool, Mr. Lucky, to go kind of do like a double cross. So he he gets this guy to like, he's gonna just basically snipe Dragon. Mm-hmm. So they go to the park. Then he's like, "All right, like on my go, shoot,
I'm gonna call him if he answers the phone, kill him."
And right when he's about to give him, you hear a shot which you think is Mr. Lucky, but actually it's Mr. Lucky gets shot.
Yeah, it's so good.
And Dragon's like, "Do I have your fucking attention now?"
Yeah, and then he like shoots near him every time he tries to say anything. It's so good. Yeah, it's great. The double cross gets double crossed.
Yeah,
and so like again, like I feel like when he killed Jimmy, even though he's spiraling and he feels terrible about it, it's like haunting him. He kind of when you get back to that, like him looking in the mirror in his suit, he feels like a gangster, you know, and so he has this confidence. He's like, I can take out Dragon, and then it's like, oh no, fuck, I can't. That didn't work, but he's still trying to scramble, and so at this point, like, I think I even took a note at this point in the movie that like we see him meeting up with, I think, Morty, and like maybe like Tom Hardy's there or whatever, and like you can tell he has a plan, and it's just going to take some time to kind of like see where the plan goes. And so like the first stop is him and Morty show up to Gene's, and they're like going to kick off this plan, and it immediately goes sideways again. And like Gene locks Morty out of the freezer and just starts beating the fucking brakes off of Daniel Craig, because he's realized that the gun that killed Jimmy was his gun that Daniel Craig took, because it's also the gun that killed Crazy Larry, and the ballistics report matched, and that's how we learned Gene killed Crazy Larry. So much happens so quickly.
Yeah, I also love, like, this was in an earlier part of the scene, but the first time that he tells him about Crazy Larry, the reason why Crazy Larry was doing this, because Crazy Larry used to, like, he would force himself on straight men.
Yeah,
and
that's why Kilborn Jerry
shot himself, because he just says like he took too many liberties with straight men, and then so Daniel Craig's just like, Crazy Larry was gay, and Gene's like, there was never gay. He used to say, fucking females is for puffs. I don't say that out loud all the time, but I say it to myself it's all in the time.
Head. Yeah. Yeah. So I forget what Gene says when Morty asks him why he killed Crazy Larry.
He says, funny enough, it was Jimmy's idea.
Oh,
because that's another note that I took that I always love in it. When he sees Kilborn Jerry come in, he's like, all right, son, go on, do him.
Yeah, he wants him to
and then he shoots himself, and he's like, bollocks.
Yeah.
And so after that, he's like, yeah, Gene's beating the fucking shit out of Daniel Craig. And then when they finally
his
stop,
face into like frozen fish over and over again.
Yeah, well, like
brutal.
A freezer, and it has ice and shit. He's like, why did you do it? I like that just before Morty's just like, okay, so whoever killed Crazy Larry is the guy who did this.
Yeah.
He's like, no, the gun.
Yeah, the gun.
Morty's like trying to like be calm. Yeah. Like, why are you beating the shit out of our buddy? And so he basically says he was an informer, and they're like, yeah, right, Jimmy's an informer, whatever.
He's like, I can prove it.
He's like, I can prove it. He's like, you got some cousin named Alfred Hicks or something like that.
Yeah.
I like to say cousin.
Yeah.
Like skint. And like, so Jimmy was skint. So yeah, he plays the tape for them, and they're like, okay, yeah.
Well,
this actually happened before.
And it's a great shot of the three of them at the bar too, with Daniel Craig still all like bloody,
fucked.
But then they're just like buddies again.
Yeah, this happens actually before the dragon thing, because they see him again, and then Gene's pissed off. He's like, "Why the fuck did you go take Mr. Lucky to do that?"
Yeah,
he's like, "Cody's gonna be pissed."
Yeah, and I like that when they're all sitting at the bar, it's a cool shot of the three of them side by side. I noticed that Gene asks Daniel Craig, like, all right, what's next, boss? And so like a day before he's about to get out of the game, he like basically does whatever Gene says, because Gene works for Jimmy. And like within a day and all this chaos, like Gene is now I don't think he actually thinks of Daniel Craig as his boss, but like the power dynamic has just shifted enough that Daniel Craig is at least even with Gene when he was subservient right before. And so you can see this kind of like ascension of Daniel Craig.
Also the power vacuum, because you did it and he did the right thing. He found out, and in terms of the power structure, like he established himself.
Yeah.
And so after the botched dragon assassination, and Gene is like berating him, Daniel Craig's just like, wait. He said he wants the Duke, and like, wait, where's the Duke?
Yeah.
And then
Gene's like, oh right, I probably should have told you about this. We killed him.
Yeah, so he killed him, and it was because you find out there Slasher was talking shit, but she was saying Jimmy sent us to go get the pills, and now you're saying the pills are worthless. So it helps establish, I think, for Gene as well. It actually solidifies it, because it's like, oh yeah, he set this all in the motion to fuck them all up.
Yeah.
And so
And Slasher's dumbass kept saying, like, I'm gonna go to
tell
the
the cop.
police. And Duke's like, shut the fuck up. She doesn't mean that. And she's like, I fucking mean it. And then they just shoot her in the face.
and then he turns around slowly like, and then they shoot him. And I
Yeah.
just love, that's also another one of my favorite scenes of the movie. Gene's face is just like,
all right. Yep. Make a little shrug at each other, and he's like, "Oh, right." By the way, and yeah, Duke and Slasher in my freezer.
yeah. One of the things that Dragon said before he lets Daniel Craig go is that he's like, you have one more day, so they have one day to figure it out.
Yeah.
Now Eddie is like, hey, I want the pills. You give them to me. You can give them to whoever you want to, but I did you a big solid by telling you about Jimmy. He's like, that's your business. That's your prerogative. You can give it to whoever you want. But if you don't give it to me, I'll be really upset.
Yeah.
So he agrees to sell him the pills.
For $3 million.
Yeah. Dragon also says, hey, I'll be watching you. So now he goes and finds Sydney, and he's like, okay, I'm going to go buy the pills. They go.
It was a cool scene.
Yeah.
Too. The drug deal.
Yeah. They go to buy the drugs from, they're like holed up in like some warehouse somewhere. And so he goes to buy the drugs, but right as they're in there, the cops bust in. And so they all have to make a mad dash.
Yeah. And you can see the goons are like about to fight the cops.
Yeah.
They like have the guns trained on the door, and Daniel Craig's like, you're going to get us all fucking shot.
And so,
and they just like drop the guns and leg it.
They book it.
And my note here is like, what it must be like to live in a country where the cops don't just shoot you on sight in this situation.
Yeah.
Because if that was here, yeah, it's like, oh, we're going in.
Saw
we're gonna
guns.
get
Okay,
these guys. Yeah, it's like, yeah, he looked at me funny, and that's why there were 20 people dead.
But I mean, they're also white, so
yeah,
maybe
one little pinky get blowed off. Everybody tripping.
Yeah. And so they run away, and at the end of it, you realize that it was subterfuge. So it's Cody and Shanks, or not Cody and Shanks. Cody and Tiptoes.
Yeah,
yeah. They're actually like fake cops, so it was all actually not real. So they got like fake cops to seize the drugs, and
while
so
Dragon's watching through binoculars.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so Daniel Craig delivers the Duke's head
to Dragon.
Yeah. We missed this part earlier, but one of Dragon's things for his boss is cutting people's heads off and bringing it back to his boss. So that was a whole thing. There's this whole
I forgot about that.
There's this whole theme of honor and respect.
Yeah.
And like the English people have none of it.
Right. Yeah. And so he brings him the head, and he's like, we lost your pills. And he's like, I know. I saw. And he's like, are we good? And he just kind of like leaves.
Yeah.
Very badass, the dragon guy.
Yeah. And so now that they actually have the drugs, they go and deliver it to Eddie. But then Eddie does the double cross.
Eddie does the double cross. And instead of paying them $3 million, he gives him a membership to the country club that he met Jimmy at, the like Stoke Park Country Club or whatever.
And if you can reach that for me, we're going to do Inside the Ugie Studio.
I'll try to do my best. Daniel Craig. Here.
Yeah.
Blue eyes.
And this is another scene of Inside the Ugie Studio. Today, we'll be doing an excerpt from one of my favorite movies, Layer Cake. This is Michael Gambon at the end of the movie talking to Mr. X. You're a bright young man. This monkey business is in your blood, under your skin. You're not getting out. You're just getting in. You're only getting started. I have every faith in you. And one day in the future, it'll be you sitting here telling some young Turks the facts of life.
And they are, Mr. Temple?
You're born. You take shit. Get out in the world. Take more shit. Climb a little higher. Take less shit. Till one day, you're up in the rarefied atmosphere, and you've forgotten what shit even looks like. Welcome to the Layer Cake, son. Unseen.
How was my Daniel Craig? Was I steamy enough?
Yeah. You got blue eyes.
Yeah,
so
that's why I took
worked.
the glasses off. I tried to just stare at you as if you just took $3 million off of me.
Yeah. So, yeah. But, again, Daniel Craig was one step ahead of the game. And he has in his ending monologue, he's like, did I think Eddie was going to pay me $3 million? Did I fuck? And pretty much he got Cody and Shanks he knew that he was going to get it stolen, so he had them ready to armed robbery steal it back.
Yep. And they killed Eddie and
I don't know if they killed Eddie, because Eddie goes off in his Bentley. You only see the goons, and so the last time, not today, but the last time I watched it, in the final scene where he's listing off people, he does not say Eddie. He ends on Jimmy. So I'm not sure. And
is that who hires the nephew? We'll get there.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
That's not what I got anyways. But anyway, so yeah, they get the drugs back. They sell it to the people up in Liverpool. He's like, they're like,
sorry about Mr. Lucky. He was
a prick anyway.
He was a prick anyway. Yeah.
They're just like, oh, I've missed that. Some proper armed robbery.
Call back to the monologue. Yeah.
So yeah, we get like an ending scene where Daniel Craig's character,
he basically tells the audience that like he thought about what Eddie said, and instead of retiring, realized that like he could climb higher.
Yeah.
And so it cuts to the Oval Room, the same room that Jimmy was talking down to him in, same waiter and everything. And he basically tells the guys like, all right, well, I've had enough.
Yeah.
You guys can talk amongst yourselves how you're going to run this business, but I'm going to get out now. There's also a layer cake on the table.
Yeah. NT.
NT. Yeah. Nice. Tie a little bow and come back around.
Yeah. As he's he's leaving now the Stoke Club, and so he's listing off all the people that died. We could have done it gone in 60 seconds here.
Yeah.
This, but it's like, I'm pretty sure it's Paul the Boatman, Kinky, the Duke, Slasher, Mr. Lucky, one more person, and then Jimmy. He's like, I don't want to add my name to that list.
My name turns around to the camera that's behind him, so that like he's walking down the steps with his girl, and he turns over his shoulder to a camera behind him,
breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, and he says,
"My name. If you knew that, you'd be as clever as I am."
My name. If you knew that, you'd be as clever as me.
And it's a very cool twist in this movie, because I mean we kept on saying Daniel Craig's character throughout this,
Mr. X.
Yeah, but when you're watching the movie, his name never gets mentioned throughout the entire movie, which is kind of like he's keeping his. I think the implication is that no one really knows who he is, and he's very clean that way. Even there's a scene when they call in that Kinky's dead. He gets on the phone. It's like kind of your first clue. He's like, oh yeah, I'm at like Milton Houses. There's a dead boy. My name?
Just says the address.
Yeah, and hangs up. The real disturbing part about all of this is that he really just dies because of the girl, which is so true.
Is that? Is that why?
Yeah, it's Sydney. He stole his girl. He's even just like, sorry, and he runs off.
Yeah,
that's always been my understanding. I don't think Jimmy sent Sydney, or I don't think Eddie sent Sydney. No, yeah, that's ridiculous. He had like fucking.
I didn't think of the Eddie. I couldn't figure out why that happened, but I guess
that's all it is. I think like, and now that we're at,
which is funny because everything else was so clean.
Exactly,
and like the one thing he did was take this girl from some idiot, like low level gangster kid.
Yeah,
but I also love that, like, him talking to the camera about how clever he is why he doesn't see him getting walked up on.
Yes, but I think that we're now into what's the symbology.
Well, let's talk about the symbology.
Let's talk about symbols.
What's the symbology there?
Symbology? Now that Duffy has relinquished his king bonehead crown, I see we have an heir to the throne. I'm sure the word you were looking for was symbolism. What is the symbolism there?
But I think that is one of the themes, because I think this movie does a very good job at contrasting like opposites, you know? You got like the really stupid, flashy gangsters, and then you got the like very clean-cut corporate gangsters.
Yeah.
But they take a little bit from each other, you know? I think that the Duke is trying to actually do some smart shit because he's trying to do with some higher up, and they're trying to do a plan that he thinks, okay, I'm going to do this little bit of armed robbery and sell it to these guys, and it's going to be a very clean job. But it ends up being absolutely nothing like that. And then on their hand, they're like, oh, why are we even working with these people? We don't want to work with them, but it ends up being super profitable. There's a lot of like dualities in this movie. I think one of the main, like, layer cake itself
that's the biggest symbol, I think.
Yeah. And it's just like kind of talking about like the different levels and classes and you see a ton of them. And I think you highlighted it very well. How when at the beginning of the movie you see Jimmy and you think, oh, he's some big boss.
Yeah, he's like middle layer. Yeah. And Eddie's the top, but he's still not untouchable.
Yeah, because I don't even know if he's on top really, because I mean, like I would argue that like the people at Scotland Yard are even the higher, because they're obviously into some dirty shit.
The Serbs are more free than Jimmy.
Exactly.
They do whatever they want.
I think the Serbs could probably get at Eddie.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And so there's the layers of class.
Yeah.
There's the layers of the problem. There's the layers of the plot. There's the layers of like identity, even like with Mr. X being this question mark, and like it's all very folded in on itself.
Yeah, Mr. X like spends the entire movie trying to prove that he's like this high class, sophisticated guy that's like,
and he tries to be outside of it.
Yeah, he tries to be outside of it, but then he actually realizes that the people around him are like, there are people that are more sophisticated and more ruthless.
Yeah. Right.
And he's just in the middle.
He's identified as being not like, if we use the layer cake in the way Eddie did, which is like basically what The Wire would call the game. Right?
Yes.
He's tried this whole time to be on the outside of it while still benefiting from it.
Yeah.
And yet everyone he works with is inside of it.
Yep.
And so he realizes through Eddie's speech, like, I've never been outside of it. I was never getting out. I've always been in it. I might as well fucking climb. Because you can't get out. You can only go up.
Yeah.
And then that ends up being his downfall. If he had just walked away, then I don't know, maybe he still would have stolen the girl and he still would have gotten shot.
He just stayed away from the girl. I think this is a classic your actions have consequences sort of thing. Like that's everybody in this movie is just like, I mean, everything in life and every story is just consequences to actions, really. But I mean, like, you know, you get the Kilborn Jerry story, consequences to what happened, you know, Morty, consequences for trying to be loyal. Everybody has these, like, for the most part, most of the characters get some sort of consequences for some pivotal. For him, the guy who spent the entire movie trying to build this but build this whole thing around him, he arguably dies in the dumbest way.
Yeah.
At least the Duke and Slasher, they get killed for a purpose.
Right.
Realistically.
Part of the game.
Yeah, they're in the game. She talks about snitching. That's a death sentence on the street. We all know that.
Yeah.
He just gets fucking killed because Sydney's fucking pissed about a girl that he, like we both says, like, you're Daniel Craig in the early you can get a girl that looks like Sienna Miller, bro.
Yeah.
You can get that in Seattle.
Get an American one, yeah. You don't have to deal with this posh ass bitch.
Yeah. So Daniel Craig represents, like, we got modernity versus tradition. Daniel Craig represents the modern tech savvy drug dealing businessman who hates guns, but there's also the old guard characters like Jimmy and Eddie who represent the old school London firm type. You kind of get a mix between those two. I think that the new guard is kind of winning out, but it doesn't mean that the older one can't flex their muscles.
Right.
We also got like status versus ego. I thought it was interesting. There's this this proverb that my dad always says. I wish that I could do it. My dad always says a proverb in Igbo and then translates it for me, and I can't fucking.
That's pretty badass.
Igbo, so I wish I could, but he would know it. But my dad always says this one. He's like, a man's destruction begins with an appetite, and I think it's apt for this also because it's layer cake. But it's just kind of like his appetite in this one was really the girl, and that's. Everything else that he did was good, but this one thing.
Yeah, the one time he got
the one thing that he's really slipping on. Because like you even see, like I remember there's like that one scene where he calls Sienna Miller's phone, and Sydney answers it, and he's just like fucking unstable. He's just like, she's like, "Why are you answering my phone?"
Yeah,
he's like, "Hey, stop calling here."
Yeah, this is the wrong number. I forgot about that scene.
And then also the motif of tea, in a lot of the most violent scenes, tea is present.
Really?
Paul the boatman, when he gets killed, you hear the kettle going,
and then Morty
fucking when he invites Dragon over,
for tea.
He invites him over for tea. They're also having tea right at the end with the cake before he gets killed at the very end. Or I don't know if he gets killed or not. I think it's a little bit open, but it kind of fades to white.
Yeah.
So I think the implication that he's died. I think in the book he doesn't die. I just wrote that it represents like just Britishness, which is probably not a word, but it's like,
sure it is,
masking brutality with etiquette. But it's so funny, like when you talk about British etiquette, because there's this thing like, someone speaking with a British accent is just like proper. It's just fucking propaganda. They're fucking savages. Imperialism. Yeah. It's the fucking
They're
worst.
Colonists.
Yeah.
They're colonizers. And when we think of that like proper British elitist archetype, that's like such a small subset of actual British people.
Yeah. And even amongst those subsets, mostly incest merchants, fucking fucked up teeth and terrible fucking genes. But
we're looking at you, Essex.
Yeah, I'm just saying, there's a lot of cool people that live in that area, but shout out to Irish people, but like Irish people that are fucking allies, not these American Irish people that have aligned themselves with the oppressors and completely lost the plot.
Yeah.
Fuck y'all.
Yeah. MAGA ass Irish folks.
Yeah, it's really weird when I like meet someone who's Irish and they like, I know a lot of people who are like down with Ireland. They think it's so cool that they're American, and this person in my family's Irish, and this person in my family's Irish, and then they align themselves with like the worst of the worst in America. And it's just like, you're not fucking Irish, because if you're Irish, that wouldn't be your style.
Yep.
But whatever. Cool. Do you?
Shout out.
Identity is a thing, and I think that goes on. It's like, to this movie, your identity is what gets you killed. He wasn't a flashy guy, but he was flashy at the end, flashy with someone else's girl, and then he died.
That's true.
But
shout
that's
out to
cool.
my Scottish family. Y'all are cool.
Yeah. So I got a Gone in 60 Seconds for you.
Sweet.
But it's gonna be what we're gonna do is give it a little twist. Every single time we do a British movie, we're gonna do Gone in 60 Seconds. Every British person's in Harry Potter. So, if you can do this for me, can you tell me, you got to name the person in the movie. You can say their name or their character in this movie, but then that's 1 point. But who are they in Harry Potter? That's another point.
Okay.
And for this one, I'm going to tell you that there's 5 characters. Passing is your goal is getting 5 correct.
Okay.
I just unhighlighted it, so don't look.
I already got 2. Okay, let's start now. I don't have any of the actors' names, so I'm not going to get any of those points. So Morty was Kingsley Shacklebolt.
No, if you say who they are in this movie, that's points.
Okay. Morty was Kingsley Shacklebolt, I believe was his Harry Potter name. Eddie was OG Dumbledore.
Correct.
Was Duke one of them?
No. That's why you need 5 points, because the rest of these are hard.
Were any of the Duke's goons?
No.
Fuck.
But
I'm trying to trace through all the characters in my head. Daniel Craig was not in Harry Potter. Wait, was Daniel Craig in Harry Potter?
No.
Okay. Okay, I think I need a hint.
If I did a 23andMe, my results would say that I can fuck.
Mark and I made the same face. I don't know. Those are the only 2 I got. Those are the only 2 I got while I was watching the movie.
So the hint was, it was for Gene, is Xenophilius Lovegood.
Luna's dad?
Yeah.
No, hang on. You fucked that up.
Yeah.
That's cool. I got 2 out of the 4 valid.
Okay. So
that's
did
4
you
points. I didn't pass.
Yeah. Well, that's 4 out of 8 now.
4 out of 8.
So you did pass.
Cool.
It was 50%.
All right.
Did you want to do a Better Off Dead?
I don't have one. I feel like everyone died. Let's see. I
wrote Eddie. Michael Gam Dumbledore should die, and in his place, the Duke should have come up on top somehow. I don't know how.
Yeah. Eddie, for some reason, I just thought Eddie died, so that's a bummer that he didn't.
He could in your head canon.
Yeah. Because I don't understand how they would have gotten away with stealing the drugs from him if he hadn't been killed. You know what I mean? Like that was like why I just like
they drove away and it happened without them being there. So
right. I don't know like how
plot.
the Liverpool guys would have gotten away with it, you know, but
Plausible
I guess, like, if Eddie's just
him.
not there and they never figure it, because I guess they killed Eddie's guy who was the like master. He can find anyone in the world in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, like, so maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But, all right.
Watch this movie while.
Oh, this one occurred to me while I was driving here. Watch this movie while listening to Pete and Baz.
That's funny.
I'm glad you're familiar with Pete and Baz. If you're not familiar with Pete and Baz, when you're done with this, type that shit into YouTube. Go listen to The Old Estate. Those guys kick ass. Also, I got tickets to their concert this summer. I'm really excited.
Keep one eye open for the plane clothes. I need more leg room for the plane up. Hey, shit to the boys in Lagos.
That's hilarious. Okay. I mean, you know what you do.
Know Pete and Baz, Mace?
Okay. They're like these old British, like they're these old British blokes. They're like 80 years old, but they be rapping with fucking like,
you know me face, you know me name.
Yeah. I can't even do it. It'll just be like, oh, we're rapping like them and this. We somehow got crime. Yeah.
Like,
check out my wrist. I'm always like, on time.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I think it's like one of their grandsons writes it for them.
So I went down a we can end up cutting this if we want to, but I went down a rabbit hole recently. The first time that I heard about them, someone told me like these guys' grandkids helped them write their rhymes. Yeah. They got bars. Like they can rap. I give them that. But I went down a Reddit rabbit hole where someone had like connected a bunch of dots, and one of them is an actor. And so the assumption is they're both actors, and the Sindhu World, like whole like production company around them. There's a theory that there's a producer that hired actors who could put down the bars, but he writes all of those songs while doing the production as well. Cool. So that is the prevailing theory, is like they're basically like
industry plants.
Yeah. Yep.
White people stealing black music.
Yep.
The usual.
But ding. What's your watch while?
I said watch this while you start your own drug empire and look at the sort of things you need to avoid.
Yeah. That's true. All right, our final segment of the day, I believe, is the Barbenheimer. So this is what we would double feature this movie with. What do you got, Ugie?
I put Knives Out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a lot more lighthearted, but more social commentary.
Right, and still Daniel Craig.
Yeah. But like funny Daniel Craig, like serious movie.
He's so funny in the Knives Out movies.
He's probably actually still, I think like him and Denzel are my favorite actors.
I
love Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
I kind of want them both in a movie together.
I picked Green Street Hooligans.
Yeah.
Just trying to stay on theme.
Yeah.
And now I like watching this. Every time I watch any British movie, I just want to watch Green Street again. Yeah. It's one of my favorites.
It was hard. Like out of all the movies, I was like, oh, do I want to do Lock, Stock? Do I want to do Snatch? Do I want to do this? But I was like, yeah, let me do this one. I love this movie from the bottom of my heart.
I was glad I got to watch it again, and I'm glad I didn't remember anything so I could relive it, because that's very rare for me. So thanks for making me watch this twice. And I'm not joking.
Final takeaways, what
it's like, this is, it's so good. Like I don't have any notes. I don't have any complaints. Like, I think the directing is really unique. Like if you haven't seen this and you've seen Kingsman, you like his other work, I think it's cool to see kind of where he started. I know it wasn't like his true start, but like, the genius directing is it's already there.
Yeah.
Especially my favorite was definitely Morty fighting the camera. I just think that must have been really hard to make look as good as it did.
Yeah. And fucking yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I think my favorite thing was the transition shots, the really unique angles, like the way that he played with the camera, and just like how the pace, like I said, the pace makes you feel like you have skin in the game somehow, because like you're trying to figure it out, that you're reacting like with Daniel Craig. It's just A+. Yeah. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, still one of my favorite movies. I hadn't watched it for a while, and then I watched it again recently, and I was like, oh, maybe this movie isn't as good as I remember it. I think I watched it with my buddy Preston, And then I watched it again for this, and I was like, no. This movie's great. I love this.
Yeah. It is just as good as you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what did y'all think? Let us know. Thanks for rocking with us. This has been the Black and White Cinema Podcast from the Creative Block in Seattle. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend, like, subscribe, comment. We love your comments. We respond to every single comment we get, even the hate. So keep it flowing. Your hate fuels us and feeds the algorithm. You can connect with us however you like at allmylinks.com/kev-n-oogie. Thank you to the actual friends of the podcast, Mark and Maceo, Marky Boy Productions, and the Creative Block. Come see my boys if you want to do creative shit. This is a cool space. Megan and Alec, thank you for our logos, and our Patreon members, Lisa, Eric, Philip, Brian, Ben, and John. And thank all of you for rocking with us today, and we will see you next time. I'm Kev.
If you knew my name, you'd be as clever as I am.